At dawn on April 5, Fletcher Webster arrived at Tyler's plantation at Williamsburg, Virginia, to tell him he was president, and had been, since William Henry Harrison died the day before. Harrison had been president for exactly 1 month. Tyler had known Harrison was sick and dying, so he probably had his bags packed. He just hadn't wanted to rush to Washington like a vulture, before Harrison's death was announced. He arrived in Washington to find Harrison's cabinet firmly entrenched, and not well disposed toward him. They told him he was only acting president. The Constitution was vague on this in 1841. They told him Harrison had made decisions by taking votes in cabinet, and they expected him to do the same. Tyler told them to take a flying FCK at a rolling donut. He had, himself, sworn in as president. He said he wanted their advice, yes, but the buck stopped with him. If they felt differently, they could resign. So far, so good. No one questioned his power to fire cabinet members. But Congress wasn't convinced that he was president, either. His opponents never accepted it, and called him His Excellency. However, if they sent him letters addressed to Vice President Tyler or Acting President Tyler, he returned them unopened. I'm not sure what they hoped to achieve by blocking him. The Constitution already said, in case of president death, powers and duties of the said office devolve on the vice president. Tyler would actually be more powerful if still vice president, since he had presidential powers and could preside in the Senate as well. Tyler was only the second president, after Andrew Jackson, to extensively use his veto. In September 1841, after he'd vetoed a banking bill, the cabinet tried to force his hand by handing in their resignations, all of them, one by one, entering his office to do it. The only member to stand by Tyler was Daniel Webster, his Secretary of State. When Tyler stuck to his guns and stayed on, his party, the Whigs, threw him out. Tyler was an independent after that. The Senate would not appoint the people he nominated. He received hundreds of letters threatening to assassinate him. He lived 4 years in a dump, because Congress refused to vote the money to make necessary repairs to the White House. I got all this from Wikipedia, it's a Bronze Star article. I saved my favorite for last. Tyler retired to a Virginia plantation, originally named Walnut Grove, or The Grove, located on the James River in Charles City County. He renamed it Sherwood Forest, in a reference to the folk legend Robin Hood, to signify that he had been outlawed by the Whig Party. He did not take farming lightly and worked hard to maintain large yields. His neighbors, largely Whigs, appointed him to the minor office of Overseer of Roads, in 1847, in an effort to mock him. To their displeasure he treated the job seriously, frequently summoning his neighbors to provide their slaves for road work, and continuing to insist on carrying out his duties even after his neighbors asked him to stop. Don't FCK with Tyler.